Thank you very much for that. We're just about to start the conference now because it's just 1 minute past 4 o'clock. So once again, I welcome you all to the Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference. Today's conference is another special edition during which we will address the renewed hope agenda of the present administration in Nigeria regarding youth participation in medical research and forensic science, with the goal of fostering a new generation of Nigerian scientists. And on the hot seat today to dissect this theme is our special guest, a distinguished physician, an academic, forensic pathologist, and administrator. He is Professor John Oladapo Obafunwa, Director General and CEO of the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, NIMR. My co-host for today are Honorable John Ogusheye, Haji Arekia Bello Abakar, Udeme Ukwe, Shombayewu, and Tosin Olayinka. They will be assisting me in moderating today's conference to ensure a smooth and uninterrupted deliberations. This conference, as you all know, is streaming live always across social media and especially on Ben TV, courtesy of the CEO of the first Nigerian African TV digital channel, Alistair Shorady. Thank you so very much, sir. And just looking through the conference, I see we've got a few new faces today, as always. In addition to the old faces, towards the end of the program, I'm going to be acknowledging the presence of some of the special guests and the VVIPs. In the meantime, on behalf of the team behind the Renewed Hope Global, I welcome you all to today's session. Today, as usual, we have in our midst a VVIP who will engage with us for the next 2 hours on the theme of the day, which is medical research and youth innovation, the challenges of building the next generation of Nigerian scientists. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to announce that our special guest of honor for today has joined the conference. Our special guest is Professor John Oladapo Obafunwa, the Director General and CEO of the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, NIMR. So, to kickstart the conference properly, please permit me to read out the profile of our special guest, Professor John Oladapo Obafunwa. Professor John Oladapo Obafunwa is a distinguished physician, academic, forensic pathologist, and administrator who currently serves as the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, NIMR, Lagos. He is widely recognized for his breadth of expertise and commitment to national development through science and education. Professor Obafunwa brings to the role a multidisciplinary career that spans medicine, forensic science, academic leadership, and public administration. His appointment by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in July 2024 marks a new chapter for NIMR. With the expectation of stronger institutional capacity, expanded national outreach, and greater impact on public health research. A patriotic Nigerian, Professor Obafunwa graduated with a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, MBBS, from the University of Lagos in 1980. He completed his residency in morbid anatomy and anatomic pathology at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital and became a fellow of both the National Postgraduate Medical College of Nigeria and the West African College of Physicians by 1987. Eager to pursue further expertise, he obtained specialist training in forensic pathology at the University of Edinburgh, Scotland in 1991. His academic pursuits have remained extensive and diverse, with a Doctor of Medicine, MD, in pathology from the National Postgraduate Medical College and a PhD in forensic science, specializing in taphonomy and forensic entomology from the University of Nebraska, USA. In addition, he holds a law degree LLB from the University of Northumbria, United Kingdom, highlighting his strong interdisciplinary grounding, which continues to enrich his approach to leadership, science, and justice. Professor Obafunwa's professional journey is marked by years of service within and outside Nigeria. He served in various forensic and clinical pathology roles in the United Kingdom, Bermuda, and Cayman Islands before returning to Nigeria in 2004 to contribute more directly to national development. He was appointed Professor of Forensic Pathology at the Lagos State University College of Medicine, LASUCOM, and subsequently served as Provost of the College of Medicine between 2006 and 2010. His commitment to institution building and academic excellence led to his appointment as the Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University, LASU, from 2011 to 2015. In that capacity, he oversaw several reforms and infrastructural developments that repositioned the university for greater competitiveness and relevance. Concurrently, he held the historic distinction of being the first Chief Medical Examiner of Lagos State, where he led forensic investigations into high-profile mass fatality events, such as the 2012 Dana air crash, the 2015 Synagogue Church building collapse, and the 2020 NSAS incident. His interventions in these national tragedies exemplified his technical expertise, discretion, and capacity to deliver evidence-based guidance under intense public scrutiny. As Director General of NIMR, Professor Obafunwa is charged with positioning the institute as Nigeria's foremost public health research hub. His leadership is defined by a renewed emphasis on domestic research funding, increased public-private partnerships, and the commercialization of locally developed diagnostic solutions for diseases such as HIV, hepatitis, COVID-19, and monkeypox. Recognizing the burden of non-communicable diseases in Nigeria, he has also directed attention toward building scientific evidence and interventions in areas like diabetes, hypertension, and chronic kidney disease. Professor Obafunwa's administration has placed particular focus on reviving and operationalizing NIMR's dormant regional centers, including those to Maiduguri, Asaba, and Kanji. Under his watch, these centers are being equipped to provide regionally specific research output while enhancing the national grid of disease surveillance and intervention. Professor Obafunwa has published over 140 scholarly articles and book chapters across pathology, forensic science, and medical jurisprudence, contributing significantly to the global body of scientific knowledge. His academic reputation has earned him numerous professional recognitions, including fellowships of the Royal College of Pathologists UK, the Nigerian Academy of Medicine, the Irish College of Pathologists, and the American College of Legal Medicine. In a nutshell, that's his biography. So, Your Excellency, sir, you are highly welcome to the Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference. Good afternoon. Can we please unmute our special guest, please? Okay, thank you so very much, sir. Maybe then you need to unmute yourself as well. Thank you very much, sir. So once again, our main topic for today is medical research and youth innovation, the challenges of building the new generation of Nigerian scientists. As usual on this program, I will be asking the first question and yield the floor for you, sir, to respond before we go to the participants for the Q&A session. And I understand that you have a PowerPoint presentation, so that you can slip into that as soon as you answer my first question, sir. So, which is going to be the question is just going to be broad-based, and usually it centers around the theme for the day. It's like I wrote in my Saturday message earlier today regarding this conference. The Nigerian Institute of Medical Research (NIMR) is a reputable point of reference in basic, applied, and operational research for promoting national health and development in Nigeria. And since assumption of office in July 2024, we've seen lots of fundamental initiatives that you brought into the agency, which is now yielding positive results. So my question is going to be fourfold, but then I'm going to put them in one. My questions are, what is the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research all about? Then what are its core objectives? And what are the successes achieved so far? And what challenges, if any, have you encountered since your assumption of office? That's just my question for you, sir. So after that, you can just slip into the presentation.
Good evening, sir. If you permit me, I would like to slip into the presentation right away because all the answers are contained therein.
Okay, fire on, sir. Fire on, sir. You have the floor.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, sir. You can. Yeah, there we go.
Thank you, sir. I hope I'm on with this screen.
Yes, it's on now.
Thank you. First, I want to say big thank you to the President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for giving me this rare and privileged opportunity to serve as the Director General and CEO of Nigerian Institute of Medical Research. My first interaction, and I might sound a bit emotional about it, but my first interaction was when I became the provost of the medical school, Lagos State University College of Medicine. And I got so much support. At the time, now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was the executive governor of Lagos State. There's a saying that no matter how brilliant you are, no matter how much of the ideas that you have, if you don't have the right people at the top to support you, you're only wasting your time. I got all the support that I needed as provost and went on to serve a second term as provost, the only person who has had that opportunity in the medical school. But one thing rather striking happened when I was provost. I think within about 6 months or so, I went down with a transient ischemic attack, and I was paralyzed on the whole of my right side. If you see me today, you won't know anything ever happened to me. I was in intensive care for 2 weeks, and the president, well, now president, got me out of this country to receive treatment abroad. And after 2.5 months, I was back to my seat as provost. I thank him, and I will always continue to thank him. It was towards the tail end of his tenure that the coroner's law for Lagos State was put in place, which marked a turning point in the medical legal investigation of cases in the state. And I also appreciate the opportunity given to serve as the Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University. I thank you, sir. That said, I recognize that some members of the Federal Executive Council are present on this forum. I recognize in particular my coordinating minister, Dr. Pate, Dr. Lausa, who was the Minister of State at the time I was appointed the DG. But I recall that strange call. I was in the US studying when I got a call from him that the president had approved my appointment as a DG. It came as a big surprise. And I also want to recognize and thank my current Minister of State, Dr. Isaac Salako, for all the assistance given so far at the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research. I say a big thank you to members of the National Assembly that I've had to interact with recently. And I must not forget, I have to recognize Ambassador Joseph Kolawole Adebola for giving me the opportunity to come on this platform and say a few things. I thank you, sir.
It's a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Recognize all progressive Nigerians home and abroad on this platform, captains of industries, distinguished guests, members of the media, and ladies and gentlemen. The Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, yes, you have the headquarters at 6 Edmond Crescent in Yaba, Lagos. And our vision is to be an institution of excellence in basic, applied, and operational research for the promotion of national health and development. And part of our mission includes not only research into medical science, but also helping to develop human resources through affiliation and relationship with universities, hospitals, other research centers, both within and outside the country, engaging in all necessary collaborations as well as interagency collaboration. But before I proceed, I have to say a big thank you to some of my recent predecessors, Professor Digbe, Professor Vincent Uja, and my immediate predecessor, Professor Babatunde Salako, for all did to what it is that without that foundation, I will have to be starting afresh. Let me also mention the fact that we have our stations in Asaba, Kanji, and Maiduguri. The office in Abuja is essentially a liaison administrative office. So what are the activities that the Medical Research Institute is involved in? We conduct research into infectious diseases, HIV, hepatitis, talking about hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, the viral hemorrhagic diseases, dengue, Lassa fever. There's also COVID that was a big problem recently. Thank God we got out of it. And I must say that NIMR was the first institution that successfully did a genomic identification of COVID in this country. Not only that, NIMR developed a kit to conduct the test. And I say a big thank you to the researchers who are involved in this and my immediate predecessor in office. NIMR is also involved in research in the area of tuberculosis. In fact, NIMR is one of the centers of excellence for the diagnosis of tuberculosis, and also with particular reference to drug-resistant strains. Just earlier this week, I had a visit from Professor Cadmus in UI, who is an adjunct actually in NIMR, to look at our facilities and how we can initiate another set of studies in the place. Malaria is a big thing, and NIMR is in the forefront. We work with Malaria Consortium, the National Malaria Elimination Program. NIMR is involved in vector identification, surveillance in the area of malaria, and also collaborating with some overseas agencies. Recently, we've had dealings, and it's still ongoing, with Neil, Professor Neil in Purdue University, assisting with his team to train 2 fellows that we just brought in, a young man and a young lady, who are conducting research into malaria. We have other entomologists based in NIMR, like Dr. Oladapo Obafunwa. We'll talk about some of these things later. Other diseases include onchocerciasis, trypanosomiasis, and even monkeypox, for which NIMR has also developed a kit. NIMR is involved in research involving respiratory infections, which includes rotavirus, respiratory syncytial virus. And recently, when there was this suspected threat of human metapneumovirus, which was in the Far East, NIMR was already prepared for the purpose of identification. We had discussions with NCDC, and we're still waiting. NIMR is also involved in research in the area of diarrheal diseases, particular reference to cholera, elephantiasis, the usual roundworms, various nematodes. NIMR is involved in looking at our waters, how safe they are, the level of purity, and co. We have disease surveillance of hepatitis B and C, as well as dengue, going on in Asaba. But in addition to research into HIV, NIMR also run clinics where some of these patients are being treated, they're maintained on their drugs. And the interesting thing is that no woman with HIV treatment has come up with a child having HIV. We've been able to ensure that all our patients are female patients. None of them have given birth to HIV positive children. There's also research into herbal medicine. There are some individuals with whom we have MOUs. We've conducted research in conjunction with private pharmaceutical companies, and we're about commencing a collaborative study with ABWAC, Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti, into one of the preparations they developed to treat malaria. And we're in the process of tidying up the MOU. With regards to innovation, I mentioned the fact that we have developed kits for COVID, hepatitis, Mpox, and we're waiting to do something about human metapneumovirus infection when it comes. In the process of all this, we are involved in interagency collaborations. I mentioned the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, the National Institute of Pharmaceutical Research and Development, NIPRD, the Institute of Human Virology, the National Tuberculosis and Leprosy Control Program. We've had some relationship recently with the National Blood Transfusion Service where we're looking at the possibility of manufacturing locally human albumin and immunoglobulins. We hope very soon the local company, Harvestfield, will be able to go into operation. Of course, there's going to be a lot of interagency collaborations along these lines. We also interact with state ministries and departments, and I must say a big thank you to the collaboration we are enjoying with the Lagos State Minister of Health under the leadership of Professor Abayomi. NIMR is also in collaboration with universities, and a number of academics in the universities are adjuncts to Nigerian Institute of Medical Research. Research collaborations span various fields, whether it's pediatrics, obstetrics and gynecology, and some aspects of public health. And of course, in the course of this collaboration with academics and universities, indirectly we have collaborations with the hospitals. When you consider the fact that these consultants work within the hospitals and patients, the use for these activities come from the teaching hospitals. Again, in the course of our interaction with the Lagos State Ministry of Health, we have ongoing studies with Mainland Hospital Lagos, General Hospital on Lagos Island, Randall Health Center, and as well as other research institutes, which includes the Research Institute in Irua and another one in Akure. With respect to foreign collaborations, one agency that NIMR interacts with is JICA, that's the Japanese International Collaboration Agency. In fact, we have just been asked to submit a name of somebody that can undergo a 3-month training in clinical medical microbiology. JICA has helped us to train people up to PhD level in the area of virology. There's collaboration going on with Emory University in the United States, the Medical Research Institute in Gambia, the London School of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, and I have to make special reference to Kiajin in Germany. Kiajin has not only been involved in coming late last year to provide training on digital PCR, polymerase chain reaction machine, and for 6 of our researchers, but also came this year for training after sending an equipment to us. Came this year for training on DNA extraction methods, automated extraction methods. In NIMR, we have a biobank. That area is undergoing some reorganization, which I ordered about a week ago. We have samples there, and we're hoping that when certain issues get sorted out, we'll be able to proceed to do some analysis, work with people of like minds. But I have to say this, I want to assure Nigerians that no biological sample belonging to Nigerians, the Black race, will leave NIMR. All studies, all analysis will be conducted here in NIMR, and there will be data preservation. It's important that I make that very clear. NIMR is also involved in training people in grantsmanship so that they know how to write for grants and conduct research. An important area in NIMR is the NIMR Foundation. And I'm going to address it especially in addressing NIMR Foundation, which was set up. And I have to thank my immediate predecessor, who was the architect behind this, in setting up the foundation to assist in putting money together for the purpose of medical research. And the chairman of that foundation is, of course, His Excellency Babatunde Raji Fashola, SAN, assisted by His Royal Majesty Sanusi Labindo, the Emir of Kano. Other members of the foundation are Professor Gureje, a renowned psychiatrist, Professor Dibe, a scientist, and we have Chief Mrs. Mujima Konjola. There is a recent addition, Professor Babatunde Salako, and my humble self. A lot is being done through them, particularly in the area of grantsmanship training. On assuming duty, one of the new innovations that are introduced is the monthly media chat. A lot of people are out there who don't know a thing about what is going on in NIMR. They don't even know the location. And I can confidently say that if you ask the average scientist or medical doctor or specialist in any of our universities or teaching hospitals, the average person doesn't know. And to solve this problem, we decided to introduce the monthly media chat, which focuses on specific diseases, focuses on researchers, their contributions, what they've been doing, and in the hope that we'll be able to link up with we'll be able to connect with the average man on the street, and by extension, connect with members of the National Assembly, so that when we go to them to ask for one thing or the other, nobody will say, what is NIMR? What goes on there? What do you do? So we introduced this, and we've had about 7 episodes since January. It's a form of outreach and advocacy. The first session that we had Professor Rosemary Audu in attendance, and she dwelled on viral hemorrhagic diseases, the hepatitis, the work going on in Asaba, the Mpox, and of course, that opportunity was seized to warn Nigerians about the problems of emerging and reimagining diseases. The second media chat had Professor Smith, who talked about Helicobacter pylori infection, how it is the association between Helicobacter pylori and gastritis, and the problem of chronic gastritis and the association with cancer of the stomach. To the left of the screen, we have Dr. Vincent Gang, who is the head of the public health department. He's a parasitologist. And to the right of the screen, we have Professor Akinwale, who is also in the Department of public health and epidemiology, focusing on neglected tropical diseases. There you have Dr. Obafunwa Adewale, also in public health department, is involved in onchocerciasis. And for those of us who are not familiar with it, that's a blind gentleman as a result of river blindness. The microfilaria gets into the blood, gets into the circulation, and part of the places that it attacks includes the eye, and it can result in blindness. About 43 million Nigerians are at risk of river blindness. I'm saying this to emphasize the fact that NIMR is in the forefront, and it's one of the center of excellence for the diagnosis of the causative agent of river blindness, right down to genomic characterization. Permit me to just quickly say that, yes, you don't, in that photograph, it's not only Dr. Adewale or myself that you have there. On the far left is Mr. Adeneye, who is a social scientist. We study diseases, we look at the sociological impact, and that helps in the surveillance, in the understanding of the disease process, in the education of people. To the far right is Dr. Sholale, who is a biostatistician. All the diseases that we study, there's always a statistical portion to it, and we have the unit that looks at this aspect. And there is Professor Ezechi, who is a gynecologist, a physiologist. He is in charge of research into HIV and manages clinics, is in charge of the collaboration with Emory University as well as University of Lagos, and also the ethical committee for NIMR. One major area where he's fully involved is in the area of maternal and child care. Of course, he manages the Center for Reproductive Health. We have patients being screened through one of the projects for cervical cancer, and NIMR is collaborating with some teaching hospitals to look at these women with cervical cancer, study the role of viruses like human papilloma virus. What is the pattern that we have in Nigeria? Now, one important study going on in NIMR, of course, being headed by Professor Ezechi, is the Salmon studies, looking at infant mortality. It's said to be high in certain parts of the country, but it has been discovered that with the use of azithromycin, the infant mortality rate is reduced. This study is not only in Nigeria, you have it in Niger, you have it in Mali and one or two other African countries. Looking at children between ages 1 and 59 months. And there are over about 11 states in the country that are being focused on because of the high infant mortality rate. You have Kano, Sokoto, Bauchi, Katsina, Akwa Ibom, Abia, Jigawa, and Co. And I have to say a big thank you to the assistance provided by Bill Gates and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the site savers, and I also want to thank the coordinating minister for his involvement in this particular project. Another thing that NIMR is involved with is, and that's dovetailing into the second part of what we are supposed to be talking about, and that's youth-focused development. We have many people, many students, undergraduates, wanting to come and do their IT or the college of places CWS posting in NIMR. They come from all over, but of course we have limited space. And they work in different laboratories to familiarize themselves with the equipment, the protocol, all the tests that are going on in this laboratory. And I've insisted with our scientists to ensure that these students are given the best, not just to be there to watch, but to have some hands-on experience under the guidance of the research fellows. We have youth corpus that are posted every now and then to NIMR. Youth corpus like those who graduated in biochemistry, zoology, microbiology, pharmacology, even nurses and medical doctors. But of course, there's a limit to how many of them we can take. Some people also come to spend about 6 months to 1 year on internship, some of them to refresh their skills. We have a number of graduate interns who come around, but I need to also emphasize or mention the fact that we have a crop of people that come in. They say they want to have experience in molecular biology, have experience in area of genomics, toxicology. But we know that what is actually happening is that they want to go abroad for master's or PhD program. And in applying for these programs, one question they normally ask them, do you have experience in molecular biology? Do you have experience in toxicology? Do you have experience in genomics? And if the answer is no, you are not likely to be admitted or to even secure a scholarship. So they want to come to NIMR, spend some 6 months to acquire these skills and then get admission, get scholarship and go abroad. We might want to call it JAPA, but it's not exactly that. You're looking at people, young people who want to acquire further training abroad, and that's why they come to us. That said, how do you encourage the young ones to come into medical research or scientific research for that matter? How do you get them to develop the skills? How do you get them to show love for the discipline? You can't just pick them in the university. It starts right from primary schools, secondary schools. To have children that will show interest. I'm not putting down non-scientific disciplines, but we need to identify these people. We need to grow their interest in the sciences right from that stage. And this is where STEM comes in: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These are subjects that should be entrenched in our youths. That way, they will appreciate the importance of science in everything that we do, in whatever area. Science cuts across botany, chemistry, physics, astronomy, pharmacy, medicine, name it. And that's why we need the right teachers at that level. People should not waste their time or the time of their children in schools that concentrate on prayers and prosperity and what have you. We should develop the children to show interest and expose them to this scientific knowledge. And I'll go back again to the aspect of the teachers at that level. I'm not too sure we have that many dedicated teachers or even teachers that are available. Yes, we have faculties of education. We have faculties of management sciences where we graduate people. But I know that a number of them just go to the universities to collect a degree. I won't want to talk about the quality, but they collect the degree and they're not committed. Perhaps if we reorientate our people, perhaps if we help in the educational advancement of these teachers, the remuneration, maybe they will be better focused in teaching our children. At a very tender age, we come across people who are full of innovations, and this needs to be encouraged. Every now and then you identify on the social media people, some of them who did not even have any advanced education, but are able to develop certain things based on the knowledge they acquired along the line through apprenticeship and co. We need to develop these talents. And at this point, I know that the current Minister for Education, Dr. Alausa, is doing a great job. And I want to seize the opportunity to say a big thank you to him. At a tender age, you have children being able to develop robotics. How many teachers do we have in computer science? How many computer science departments are actually functional? So you need the right quality. You can only give what you have. And if you don't have the right quality of teachers, they cannot impact the knowledge even on children in the elementary school. Now, let us assume that government is able to provide the infrastructure, provide the equipment, the facilities. All those things are there. We will still not achieve what we are trying to do because there are so many challenges that we need to address. And the challenges start from the home, the upbringing. How many parents spend time with their kids to take them through their homework? The way they insist on their kids dressing nicely to go to parties and go, do they insist on their kids studying? and acquiring knowledge. Even things like asking your kid to wash his plates, we need to inculcate some level of discipline in them. I'm a bit conservative, okay? But by doing all this, you'll be bringing up a generation of students that are studious and can be focused to want to study the sciences. How many parents talk to their children about the so-called special centers? And I've seen it as a vice chancellor. I've seen parents trying to arrange for people to come and sit for exams in post-UTME examination. We caught a few people and invited the police to take care of them. We found husbands trying to take exams on behalf of their spouses. And I say a big thank you to Professor Oladapo for the great job that he's doing in JAM to help curb all these malpractices. I talked about the teachers who are supposed to be mentors. How many of our teachers are indeed mentoring our students? I don't want to get into the angle of examination malpractices even involving teachers themselves, sexual intimidation and all the rest. People being asked to buy tires and batteries for the cars of teachers. These things go on. I know about it. I saw it. So we need a reorientation to get our teachers to do what is right. We need ASO to rise up and tell its people to do the right thing. You don't want a situation where for you to acquire masters or PhD, you have to make presentations and organize sumptuous parties or dinners for your teachers. No, that's not the way to go. Because in the process, we are sending the wrong message to these children, to these undergraduates, to these postgraduates. So we need to focus on the issue of attitude as it relates to our teachers and the students themselves. We need to look at our societal values. Forgive me, it might sound like I've moved into social sciences, but this impact on the quality of students that you receive as interns or as ICT students, our society places a lot of importance on things like Big Brother, how to become a millionaire, a lot of money being doled out. We seem to fancy rappers. But how much focus have we placed on cowbell, the science quiz, spelling bees? This is where we need to redirect our focus as a society. Yes, football is good. The Super Falcons just won the medal. Yes. While we give and recognize them, we also need to recognize our teachers and especially our science teachers. There's a problem of power supply. And we had that problem. We still have it in NIMR, in Ikeja. I mean, in Yaba. We had a running battle with a co-electricity distribution company, but we're getting over it. And I thank all those who have come to the aid of NIMR. Of course, we now have a meter on site. I insisted on having prepaid meters in all the residential quarters so that people will be more, people will be more prudent with electricity consumption. You don't switch on your AC and walk away. You don't use electric cooker when you can use a gas cooker. We have moved from about 48 million a month. At some point, it went to 52 million a month. But we're now down to 27, 22. And I was just informed yesterday, after reading the meter, that we should expect a bill of about 17 million. We're moving into the phase of putting prepaid meters in our laboratories and offices to further curb the consumption. And because if you don't have power, number one, you cannot do any research. If you don't have power, all your reagents, all your temperature-sensitive machines will not work. And these are very expensive reagents and consumables in some instances. So power is a major challenge, but we are getting around it. I want to say a big thank you to the members of the National Assembly. They've assisted us to some extent to make provision in the 2025 budget. And we're still asking for more. But the truth is that funding is still slightly inadequate. When it comes to funding, you have money coming in from foreign donors, whether it's WHO, London School of Tropical Medicine and Hygiene, Emory University, NIH, National Institute of Health in the US, JICA. Wherever the money is coming from, you find that a number of times the research they want you to focus on are things that are of interest to them. And this research, this research might not necessarily be of importance to us in Nigeria. But in the process of the fund, you are able to run your institution. On conditions these have been drumming into the ears of my cancer of the cervix. Let us look at asthma considering the degree of pollution that we have in the environment. Let us look at our water and the kind of food we are taking, the impact of this on kidney diseases, ending up with chronic renal failure, that might require kidney transplant at the end of the day. And my colleagues are beginning to redirect their minds. That's the direction in which we have to go. Yes, we have raised issues about budgeting, but there's a big problem with regards to funding research, apart from the fact that we can do with more money. But at the same time, I want to thank the National Assembly for increasing the 2025 capital vote for intramural research. But the problem, yes, you can vote that money, but can you access the money? And this is where I want to appeal to those involved in this process to help to allow us to fully actualize the renewed hope agenda and provide all the support to the president. You cannot, according to financial regulations, you cannot give more than 20,000 to any individual. When you want to do research, you are talking of millions, any particular research. I understand that in the past, we had such money were given to researchers who, of course, still paid it back into the TSA for it to be accessible so that it does not get mopped up. Yes, I think I need to mention this thing about mopping up. There's money there, even if it's allotted to you. By the end of the year, they mop it up. Meanwhile, you have not even finished whatever you're supposed to do. Research is not necessarily going to be completed within 6 months or 1 year. There are some that will last 2 years or 5 years, depending on what you're dealing with. And to avoid mop-up, I was made to understand that in the past, money was paid to researchers who paid it back into the TSA account, and the management was accessing the money from there. But auditors came and said, no, 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 you've contravened the rule. You cannot pay more than this to anybody. You have to go to jail, this and that. People are settled. Let me leave that out of it anyway. The point I'm making is that you cannot conduct a medical research with 200,000 naira. And I thank the present administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Last week, I just got a circular that the money that will be paid to individuals for research or what have you has been increased to 1 million naira. But of course, we can still go further. Right? I've read the say it's better than not. We're still trying to look at how we can get around this thing without breaking the law. Another innovation that came from the present administration through the Office of the Accountant General is that we can open accounts in commercial banks for foreign donations. Of course, you have to get the permission of the Accountant General. They have to know all the details of the account, money that goes in there, general audits. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I say a big thank you. We're still trying to see how we can deal with the budget. We still have certain things that are standing for 2024. 2025, we're yet to get there. But if you don't have the money made available and you are not able to do the spending as appropriated, when those conducting oversight functions come from National Assembly or wherever, you stand the risk of being accused of poor budget implementation. Meanwhile, you don't have the money. I think this is an area that we can look at. As to the way forward, I want to make special appeal to the captains of industries who might be present on this forum. Let us focus less on Big Brother. Let us focus less on all this program on TV into which we push huge money. Let us look at research, endowments, putting up buildings. These buildings can be named after them, providing equipment, supporting activities involving medical research. And I want to appeal that we need to have improved accessibility to our 2025 approved capital budget, because the National Assembly has done its bit of approving for us to build a new laboratory complex that will house histopathology and cytopathology laboratories, which are essential to cancer research and treatment. Our Central Research Laboratory has equipment, GCMS, HPLC, oligosynthesizer, all of them scattered around various departments. If we have a new laboratory complex in place, we'll be able to pull all those things together under one umbrella. And of course, that laboratory complex is supposed to include a forensic science research laboratory, not just service, but research. You want to be a step ahead of the criminal. In all this, I want to assure the government, I want to assure His Excellency that NIMR will exhibit prudence. And I've made this very clear to my colleagues. NIMR will exhibit prudence, strict accountability. I've said to my colleagues, grant money is not personal money. We still have to go through the route of financial regulations. I want to appeal through the Ministry of Communications and National Orientation and all the rest to assist with telling our youth the advantages of science and medical science, reorienting our teachers, and hopefully, at the end of the day, things will turn around. In the midst of all this, I will want to appeal that to get the best out of our researchers, out of non-researchers, that is the support staff, because they're an important component of the institute, whether you're a cleaner, whether you're a secretary, whether you are an accounts department or admin department. Without you, the place cannot function. So we need to concentrate on improved welfare staff. I have people living in Mowe, people living in Shangotedo after Aja, who have to come to work, people living in Songo who have to be at work. Yes, I'm talking about punctuality. I'm insisting on punctuality, but what is it that we can do to assist? And I know that when I was provost of the medical school in Lascaux, we had, we invested in buses that bring us out from different locations to work. And we are sure that by 8 o'clock they're there. So you are killing two birds with one stone. You are providing some form of welfare for them, and at the same time, you are ensuring punctuality. I believe that we should do all that is necessary to assist this staff. I thank you for listening. I hope I've been able to make some sense. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much, sir, for that elaborate presentation, which is more or less like I think we had a couple of deja vus on this program where our special guests, take us all back to school, and you've done that again now. I think we had about 2 or 3 times before. And this is another example of taking the whole country back to school now. Because I personally, up until today, I don't think I've ever heard of the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research until now, when we're about to bring you on, and you made me proud, that as Nigerian we have such institute that's looking into, especially area with the area of this pathology and the rest of them, which shows that Nigeria has come of age. Again, I think this belies some of the cacophony of fake news that people read on social media, that Nigeria is finished, Nigeria is this, Nigeria is that. With this kind of presentation, I don't think anybody in their right senses will say Nigeria is not moving forward, because it shows that there are elements of the country that has advanced beyond what an ordinary Nigerians out there know. If only this information is being fed out to them, which is why I'm glad that you come on this program today, sir, to educate us. And you did that immensely, and we are so proud that you agreed to come on to this program. Thank you so very much. We appreciate it. So we will be going to the participants now, who have one question or the other. But before then, we have a couple of VVIPs that has joined the program, like they do every week. First of all, we have our grand patron, and the senior counsel to Mr. President, no less, His Honorable Babatunde Ogala, SAN. He's on our program. Thank you so very much, sir, for always being there for us every week. He's always coming on to support us and to support our special guests as well. So thank you so very much, sir. We also have Dr. Temitope Ilori. He's the DG of NACA. Thank you so very much. Again, we have another potential special guest that is coming on. She's giving us his word that he's coming on. So we will be having him very soon. He's Dr. Andy Eyo. He's the CEO of EQs. EQs is one of the largest indigenous NGOs in Nigeria. So he's coming again to come and educate Nigerians as to what the agency is all about. Watch out! It might be next week. It might be the week after. I'm keeping that under wraps for now. So just watch this space. We also have Dr. Tomori from the University of Lagos and Dr. T.Y. Rahim. As we go along, if I see any more VVIPs, we will recognize their presence. So in the meantime, if there's anyone who wants to ask any question, this is the time for you now to ask our special guest your question. And please use the hand icon at the bottom of the page to put your hand up, so that we can call you to fill your question to our special guest, because now is the question and answer session. So for the next 45 minutes, that's what we'll be doing, because we will be closing exactly at 6 o'clock. So let me hand over to my co-host, who is Barrister Tosin Olayinka. Barrister Tosin Olayinka, you have the floor now, so to take us through the question and answer session. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, sir, Ambassador J.K. Adebola, for this opportunity once again. And also, I want to welcome our special guest, Professor John Oladapo Obafunwa, the Director General and CEO of Nigerian Institute of Medical Research. Good to have you here, sir. And we also thank you very much for the analysis via the PowerPoint